So we discussed about how to create stored proc. Stored proc will have input parameter and it will have output parameter. Output parameter is used to take the data after execution. Input parameter to pass the data, to the data to SP. Okay, SP to return the data from SP. So you can have many input parameters, you can have many output parameters, there is no issue. So input parameter, it will take the data from developer or from application. Okay, output parameter will return the data using output parameter. Okay, and variables, DDL, DML programming, you can have functions, you can call procedures, you can have curses, you can have written statements. All of them are very, very important and all these can be used. Okay. Now let me create a simple proc and this is the style to call the proc. Now let me give you one example how you can create a simple proc. Okay. So create a proc or the procedure. Create proc or procedure. You can say anything. Create proc. No input parameter, no output parameter. You can simply say as. Otherwise, you have to give input parameter and output parameter like this. So I'm not giving these two. So simply I'm putting as and begin. So this one straight away I can copy it. Okay. Now begin. And after that you need to give end. Okay. So I'm giving simply a print command. So thanks.com. Okay, this is what I would like to print welcome to www.goonlinetrainings.com. You can also give prints like that, so this will not do anything. You can give like this. Okay, call okay 90000 5637 like that. I'm giving some message over there and this is how I'll create a proc. That's it. So simply say go. And how do I execute? As usual, you press F5, automatically this will get executed. Let me open SQL Server and SSMS. If you type SSMS, this is a shortcut to open SQL Server. I'm just opening it. Oh, so evaluation copy. I don't know what happened today. Okay. This is how we have to create the stored proc. Call for more details. Then how do you execute it? So you have to execute SP. How do you execute SP? You have to say exec and you have to provide the proc name. What is the proc name you need to provide? The proc name is welcome. Welcome. So you have to give this. Give it welcome. This will give you a this one to you. Okay. Sorry, my SQL Server is not its evaluation copy is over. So I think I need to install, but this is how you have to create a proc. Just make a note of it. So you can try on your machines now. See the differences. Create proc welcome as begin, print welcome to this one. Clear? Now this is how you execute a proc. Okay. Now let me give you one more proc. Create SP with one input parameter. Okay, so I'm creating one more recipe with one input parameter. Let me create this. So as usual, or the procedure, anything you can say. Then you have to give the proc name. What is the proc name? Get. So this is the proc name we're talking about. Get the procedure, get balance. Then input parameter means you have to keep it in the brackets. Then as so good. This is the skeleton you have to create. So in these two brackets, create be able to create your input and output parameters. If those are not there, you have to remove those brackets. Okay. So now create a procedure get balance. You need to provide input. So ACID, this is how we have to create input parameter. So without using declare keyword at the rate ACID integer, this is input parameter. For input parameter, we have to put in. In means input parameter. For out, we have to put out. Output parameter. If I put in, this is input parameter. If I don't put anything, this is the input parameter. Either you put in or don't put, that is also no problem. If you don't write anything, that is default input parameter. Clear? Good morning, good day. Okay, so I am taking a account ID. Account ID you have to pass to get the balance from the account master table. So this is the requirement now. So you will pass a data. So to pass in data, you need to have input parameter. Okay, input parameter is account ID. You can say X, you can say Y, you can say Z. There is no naming problem. You can say anything. That is not an issue. Okay. So now here, what you have to do is you have to simply write clear balance account master where account ID equals to at the rate is 8. That's it. So whatever you were giving it here, that will get substituted over there, and this will give you a clear balance to you. Press F5 so that execute this. Press F5 to do this. So, or you can say simply execute button. You have created your proc. Now, how do you call the proc? Very simple. Okay. Now call the SP. Okay. So exec or execute. Exec also you can say. What is the proc name? Proc name is get balance. Control C. And I suppose to pass a account ID to get the balance. The input parameter you have to pass it here. Okay. Now input parameter you may have one, you may have 1000 parameters. There is no issue. You can pass. Say what is the input parameter I need to pass? 101. For this customer, I would like to get the account balance. Or you may pass 102. Any number you can pass. Okay. So the syntax would be like this. Exit. Then you have to say name. Then here we have to say parameter value 1, comma, value 2, comma, value 3, dot, dot, dot. Okay. So SP name space value 1, comma, value 2, comma, value 3, comma, value 4, like that. Now output parameter we'll discuss Venkat. Okay. Venkat is asking about it. We're going to discuss. That is not an issue. So as of now, I'm discussing about input parameter. So this is how you should be able to call SP. If you have two parameters, make sure that you have to put comma here and say one more parameter here. So the other parameter can be For example, you would like to, give another name also you would like to take it. So you have to put comma and put some XYZ. So that is later, but not now. This is how you have to call execute get balance 101 or 102 or 103. Always this proc will take only one input parameter. That means this proc always will take only one account ID. You cannot give me balance for 101 and 102. No, that will not work. Okay, so it will always take one customer ID and it will give you the result. So this is a proc with one input parameter. Clear? Now let me create a proc with one input parameter and one output parameter. Thing you have to use it. So create ASP with one input parameter, one parameter. Okay, this is what I'm going to use now. ASP with one input parameter and one output parameter. I am creating ASP. This will take input parameter and I would like to get the balance in output. So PAL is money. Parameter I have to say out. Now make sure that the comma is there, because if you write more than one, you have to insert the comma. For input parameter, if you want to put, you can put in. Otherwise, also no need. Okay, for output parameter, you have to, put out. So, but this is optional. Whether you put in or you don't put in, it will take input parameter, but it will consider that as input parameter. Okay, but if you want to put in, that is also fine. So account ID integer in, that is input parameter, balance money out. So balance you would be able to get it. So as begin, so it will take account ID. The balance will not be printed. Balance will be kept it in a BAL. So this execution, the whatever be the balance will be kept in this. Okay, now you need to print that balance after select the balance. Now so you have, and if you want to print, you can print, otherwise you can simply leave it as this. So this is how you can use a output parameter, you can use a input parameter. When you call the proc, what happens is when you call the proc always will create these, parameters. In these parameters, whatever you are supplying, those will be, put in, and those values will be substituted here, and you will get the values. So actually, parameter means which is a kind of a variable. Parameter means which is a kind of a variable where which will store your values and those values will be passed to the query. So it will start from top to bottom. Clear, Venkat? Initialize, okay. So what is the difference between a parameter and the variable? So parameter will not have a declare keyword. So have you seen any declare keyword here? No. Parameter will not have any declare keyword, but variable will have a declare keyword. So that is one difference. And parameters always you have to declare within these two brackets. Whatever you write, that is a parameter. So after as keyword, whatever you declare after begin, this will be variable. Variable always have to write using a declare keyword. Declare at the rate x, so that is a variable. Without a declare, that is always a parameter. Parameter you cannot write within the begin and end. You have to remember very clearly. Parameter means without a declare, you cannot simply say at the rate SAD here. Parameters are always within these braces. To be very clear, parameter is to take the value, that's it. It will be there only fraction of seconds. When I'm giving a ball to you, you will catch the ball immediately, that's it, you will give it to other people. So Your hands are parameters to catch the value. But if I want to keep the ball for some time, definitely you will give it to the somebody or you keep it in a box. The box is the permanent place where you have to keep the ball for longer period. So the box is a variable for it. Variable for longer period to store the value. Parameters are which can take the value but shorter period. You have to remember the difference between variable and the the parameter. Even output parameter also. When I'm getting a data from a proc will give the data using output parameter. But output parameter, it will just like it will pass to you. But that is your responsibility to catch the value which is coming from an SP. Okay, so you have to be very clear. Parameters are fraction of seconds. Variables are permanent storage devices. Okay. Thanks. Input parameter to pass, output parameter to get. Now I have created a this one. Now how do I call this problem? Call. Okay. Now how do I call? I have to call exec. I have to probe SP name. So this is my SP name. Provide input parameter because account ID is input parameter. So space 101. Okay. So when I give this, when I execute this, I supposed to get a this balance say 1000 or 2000 rupees from SP. For this SP, I have to supply a variable. Why? Because somebody is giving you the ball, you can catch it, but after catching it, you have to put it in somewhere. So you have to permanently store somewhere. To store permanently, you need to use variables. So declare, I am declaring another variable, declare at the rate, say money. Why I'm storing this? Because the prop is giving me balance. That balance value I cannot simply hold it. So I have to declare a box. In that box, I have to supply the value. What value I have supply at the rate BAL value. So for this value, you have to declare a variable here whenever you're calling. Okay, this is extra step. That's how you have to do it. Okay. To give it here 101 comma balance we have to say out. Now what happens, it will this proc will execute with 101. Whatever be the balance you have created here, that balance will be passed to this box. Okay. This box will be taking data from output parameter. That is the meaning of this. Balance is the variable because I have used declared, and this is taking the value from the output. What is output here? The output is this. From here, this will take the value from you, and this box is having the value. Now, how do you print the value? You can say print balance. Now, this will be given you the whatever be the balance in 101. Okay, so this is the syntax you have to keep it. Have one more output parameter. For example, I need a name also in the this one. So definitely you can go for the name. How you have to say? Once you create, if you want to alter, you need to say alter here. So alter. Then I would like to have one more thing here. Alter. I have to say comma. Then I have to say customer also I need. This is varchar and say 100, and this is also a output parameter to you. Okay, so this is output parameter and this is also output parameter. You need clear balance and comma name equals to name. So what happens? Whatever be the name, that name will be given in the name. Okay. Now, so name is the second parameter here. So here we have to declare one more variable name to hold your name, or you can say cname. So this is, and you will get the balance. This is the first output parameter, comma, you have to say at the rate, okay, at the rate cname for you. That's it. So for output parameters, we have to say cname, and here you can say print balance, and you can also cname. You can also give many output parameters. For each and every output parameter, we have to declare variables. I told you why. Because when SP is returning or giving a parameter value, output parameter, as a programmer, you have to hold it. To hold, you need a permanent box there. What is a permanent box now? The permanent box is a variable. Okay? Like that, you should be able to understand. Otherwise, you cannot. Simply, you take output parameters, you cannot. If you're a .NET programmer, so you would be calling the SP inside your .NET. The .NET will have two variables. You need to declare two variables in .NET or Java. So where you should be able to say whether it is perfect or not. Clear? So this is how you have to create input and output parameters. Any questions? Okay. Now we're talking about the proc. This is after the proc. This is your calling. So this will be there always within the client. The calling will not be in your SQL server. Calling always will be in .NET, or calling always will be in Java. Please remember this point. Okay. So this declaring variables will not be there in SQL server, because this is a calling. Whatever variables you want to declare, you have to declare here. But the calling always will be done in the front end language. Please remember this point. Okay. So within the begin, if you are writing a variable, that is you have to use internal to the stored procedure. But in a calling, when you are declaring this, this is not I will take care, because you have to create a proc. That proc will be called by the .NET or any other guy, but they have to declare variables outside the proc, not within the proc. Okay, you can also declare variables if you want to declare something here. That I'm anyhow going to show you now. Is it clear? In this prop, you have a problem. What is the problem you have? For example, whenever people are giving, say instead of 101, you have 101, 102, 103, 104 like that, but somebody is giving a wrong value like that 1001. So when they call this syntax, will not give you anything, because 1001 is not a number which is existing in your table. Okay. Now definitely you need to check whether the given account ID is valid or not. So you need to improvise the get balance proc, because any proc which you rate, always you have to understand the customer will not say I need like this, but you need to put much more easiest way to tell them. If he does mistake, you should be able to tell this is where you made mistake. Clear? So now I am just altering the proc. If customer makes a mistake saying that his account number he passed, then somehow we should be able to, what is that I'm going to do is, I am declaring a variable here. So declare at the rate count is a variable for me. So I am going to use select constar account master where account ID equals to ID. Okay. For example, you give account ID 1001. If you give, so this account is not available there. So when it is not available, the account will become zero. Zero means it is no such records exist. So when it is zero, how do this? So I'm just okay. If select count star from account master where account ID equals to zero, zero means this record does not exist. We have to say begin and end. Lot of people instead of putting the entire statement here, what they do is they will take this box, the entire statement here. They will this count they declare and they keep it in at the rate CNT. Now if CNT equals to zero, blah blah blah, what they do is this is simple thing to zero. I have declared a variable here and that variable now is holding a value whether 0 or more than 1. If count is 0, that means print invalid is okay. Else this one else and in this you take this, you put this, that's it. Okay. Now else part will give you very clear cut picture. If count equals to 0, begin print invalid account number, please check. Else, begin select balance and clear balance. So I have used a variable. This variable I have used within this. So whatever you want to use within this, you can declare and you can consume them here. But these variables, out of the SP, this is where you have to declare whenever you call it. This normally will be taken care by the your people who are calling the proc. Now could be other SQL server, other .NET, other Java, any guys. Okay, so this is how you should be able to understand. Any questions? So when create, if it is giving any wrong value, this will give you print in it will print like this. Otherwise, it will go and execute this. So that values will be supplied here. Okay. So this is you may use print or you may use select also. There is no issue here. This is how you should be able to this. Yes. Calling a SP, how do I know that the SP is completely executed or it is not completed? How do I know? Because I don't know anything. The SP can have 1000 line code as the SP can have 2000 line code, but how do I know that execution of SP is completely successful or not? Okay. So to do that, we have a written statement. Written is the function we have used, our written statement we have used. Okay. What is the purpose of written? It indicates that indicates whether stored procedure is or not. Okay. So returns 0 on success. Okay. non-zero. Okay, on what? When it is failed. Okay, if the stored procedure is failed, that means you need to get non-zero. Any number you have to provide, or whenever the store procedure getting executed properly, there is no issue with the then it will become zero. Okay, so return zero means success. Return non-zero means it is fail. So always you have to use return. Always, when SQL server returns, when SQL server identify return, the SQL server will stop rock or the procedure when it finds its return keyword. Please remember this. When SQL Server, finding return keyword, that means SQL Server will not go beyond that. SQL Server will come out of the loop. So return statement will pass something and it will come out of the loop. Now let me see how we can use return there. Uh, Something here, there is a problem because this is not successful. There is a problem with the syntax. So whenever there is a problem, you have to say return, non-zero. Return, give some number, any number you can give. So I'm returning some number here, non-zero. So when it is successful, so after this execution, you have to say return zero. Okay, return zero. But if you do it ulta, it is problem because success means it is always zero. Non-success means you can give any number. Zero. Zero means success. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. You can give any number. That will tell you the called stored procedure, getting some issues. This is how you have to say a return keyword. When it identifies a return, the below code will not be executed. The SQL server will come out of the execution. That is also one more point you have to understand. So when you have written keyword, how do you call the prop? For the written keyword also, you need to have one more variable here. The variable is clear at the rate return code. Say RC, you can give any. So RC can be any minus or plus, whatever it is. Now, before executing, so this is how you have to execute. But before executing, the get balance may become 0 or may become 65 because 65 is the number. So that number you have to keep it here. So execute at the rate RC. What is RC now? RC is nothing but a written code. When this is getting successful, this value will become 0. Getting not successful or failure, the RC value will be not 0. Okay. Now we can also print if you want to see the value. Select at the rate RC. So RC value will be also given. Okay. Now you should be able to write what is that at the rate RC equals to 0. You can call this because this will be the data you would have get it. And you can say, so 0 means success. Success means you can call these two things. Okay, you can, if else means you can print, say that SP, you will be getting a message saying that error occurred kind of thing. Okay, RSP failed to execute. So that's it. So like that you can use also written keywords. So this is a good example where I am using a written keyword. Return keyword, the purpose is whether the called the procedure is completely executed or failed. If it is getting 0, it is success. If not, which is giving you a non-zero. Okay. But sir, should I put 65, 78? That is, up to you. You can put any number, could be negative number also for failure. That is, as a developer, you have to understand. This is clear. So this is how you should be able to create a procs. The procs are very simple to create, and this is how you have to practice. The interview question: what is the difference between output parameter and the return keyword in SP? Output parameters to pass the data, to get the data from a proc, but return keyword is used to come to know whether the called stored procedure is executed successfully or not. So there is a huge difference. So normally in functions of C++, or functions anywhere, you will use a return to return the data actually. But in a procs, it is completely different. To return the data, you must use output parameter, not the return keyword. Return keyword will tell you whether the SP is executed successfully or not, but not with the data. But the programmer, the interviewer will ask, okay, if I return using return keyword, what would happen? Okay, I'm not aware of that, but I have used, say, instead of output, I'll say return at the rate balance. Can I do like that? The answer is you can do. But the problem is it will truncate the value. For example, you're returning a money, uh, 1,27,000.00 paise you're returning. The 00 paise will not be written. So it may truncate, or it may truncate any value, you are not sure. So return keyword is always not for the returning data. If you want to return the data, you can also return, but it may truncate the value. Hence, never use return statement to return the data. Use output parameters to return the data from a SP. What is the purpose of return? Return is always used whether the called proc is executed successfully or not. So return is, you need to say return 0 or return non-zero. That is, as a developer, you have to keep practicing it. Clear? So any questions using input parameter, output parameter, and return? Questions? Okay. Yes. Okay. So variables to hold the data, parameters to pass the data. Input parameter which will pass a data and give it to the proc, and a proc will, after execution, proc will give you the data that you need to catch somewhere. That is a variable for you. Okay, Ravi. So parameter are seconds, variables are permanent for some time. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, okay. Now, how do we handle errors in SQL Server? Definitely, we'll take the session in try catch block we'll be having tomorrow. So, how do you do the error handling? That will be there. Definitely, we'll speak about that. Okay, we definitely need.
Sir, yes. Sir Ravi here.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, actually, after calling the stored procedure, we are declaring the variables. Is the variables generally we are declaring for
Yeah,
output
definitely.
or
If you're,
any other purpose?
yeah, I can understand this. If you're another SQL server, if you're calling this proc, then definitely you need to declare these variables like this. For example, I have server 1 and server 2. In server 2, I am calling server 1 SP. Now in the server 2, you have to write these declare variables and all of them, then call. Or it could be in any other Java.NET also, okay? Because it's getting executed, you have to hold the value. That is the reason. You have to do it. There is no other way. You have to declare them. Anything else, guys? This is how you should be able to do that. Now, yesterday we were discussing about so this is using parameters we have created. Parameter will have a name, parameter will have a type, and you can also give default value. We'll see tomorrow. Parameter can be input, can encrypt the procedure. If you use procedure encrypted, you have to be very clear on it. We'll be discussing tomorrow. So when you create a proc and call the first time, execute call you have given. Are all objects referenced. Whatever you say, select star from employees from a department, all these employee table, department table, whether they are there or not, it will check. Then compatibility of column data type with variables used. So you have used account ID integer, but what is the account ID in the table? Those it will compare. Okay, input parameter data type, the table account ID data type, all of them will be compared. And it will check the volume of data in the table, nature and presence of indexes if you have any indexes on the table. Then what kind of operators you have used, is null, is not null, equals to, not equals to, greater than, less than, all of them will be used. And the presence of joins, unions, group by, all of them will be used. Okay, so depends upon these parameters which creates an execution plan that will be cached. For the subsequent calls, the second call onwards, the procedure execution is very, very fast. Okay, this is what is known as, caching an execution plan of a procedure. This feature is unique only to the stored procedures. Because of this, stored procedures are always better for performance. Clear? So why stored procedures are very faster? So this is the thing you need to explain to them. First time it will do execution plan and that will be cached, and second time onwards this will be very, very fast. I told you a simple example yesterday. First time whenever you're visiting any temple, so you don't know first time how to go there. You will try to book tickets and you try to find out the good lodge and everything. But second time when you're visiting the temple, you have very good knowledge because already you have visited there. The plan which is there already in your mind. Second time will the time will be reduced. The price of the tour will be reduced because you have already cached the plan. So same trick is used here also. Because of this, procedures are faster. Procedures are faster. Is clear? Some create statements are not allowed. So can reference object in other DBs and other servers, can reference temporary tables, creation of local temporary table inside procedure, removed when the SP exists. You can also create a temp tables, temp procs. Temp procs means using hash symbol. Okay. So calling another procedure is also very, very easy. You can call another procedure. Okay. So that is also can be done. So there is no issue. All of them you can simple points, but people may ask in the interviews. Store procedure up to 32 levels you can ask the store procedure. No limit on number of procedures invoked from a procedure. That means what? I can call SP1, SP1 is calling SP2, SP2 calling is SP3, SP3 calling is SP4. Like that I can have 32 levels. If 33 comes, entire calling will be cancelled. Okay. But I can call any number of procedures. So I can call 1000 procedures. Call SP1, call SP2, call SP3, like that I can call. But I cannot have nesting means I am calling you, you are calling others, that guy is calling the another guy. So this is a nesting. But I can call 1000 members, there is no issue. That is the second point. Written statement to pass written codes. What is the written code will tell you? Written code will tell you whether the execution of a proc is success or failed. Okay. And a recursion is allowed. What is recursion? I am calling you, you are calling me. I am calling you, you are calling me. I am calling you, you are calling me. This is allowed. Okay. But this is also maximum 32 levels. And at a next level, global variable will tell you how many times you called me, how many times I called. I called you and you called me. Next level will become 1. Again, I called you, you called me. Next level 2. You called me, I called, like the next level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If at the rate next level equals to 30, you break, come out of the loop. Like that, you can use at the rate next level. At the rate next level is a global variable. Okay, so this you can use it. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to discuss about with recompile option during the creation, with recompile option during the execution, and with SP recompile. This is very, very important, the recompilation, why we have to use it. Tomorrow we're going to discuss about this. Okay, any questions? Okay, so tomorrow we'll start with this, will complete this topic, then we'll start with new topic, and we'll also try to complete the error handling sessions. Okay, thanks guys.